Welcome into Sports Sit-Down. So excited to have our guests on. It's the Naperville North Cross Country team, Maggie Gamboa, Coach Dan Iverson. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. You got a busy weekend. You got a busy end of the year. You got a lot of wins coming your way, and I know that as a coach you don't like to say that, but you guys have been perennial winners the last 20 years. Why is that?
Well, I think when you do things right, I think things happen, good things happen. And so, that's something that I take back from my days at North Central, that, when people run for fun and personal best, which is, what goes on at North Central, good things happen. And I think it's really important to make sure that we have a culture that breeds that sort of thing, that every single person matters, every single person ability to achieve her best matters. Mm-hmm. And then when we pursue that together, sometimes you win. So
more often than not in the Naperville North program, it's pretty spectacular. Now, Maggie, with this program, as I guess you could say illustrious as it is, that's got to come with a certain element of expectation, right? Mm-hmm. That as a program that has won sectionals 9 straight years and the state title and all that cool stuff, what is it like running for a program with all that kind of prestige?
It's definitely an amazing experience because everyone is we're always running our best. We're running for fun as well as personal bests. So we're all just pushing each other and stuff. So there's no really expectation. I don't think it's I'm not pressuring myself to make sure that I win or I get a certain time, just as long as I'm putting my best effort out there.
Has it been so long since you've been maybe out of that kind of culture that it's just become second nature, that when you run, it is for enjoyment and for just the passion of running?
Yeah, I would say that's the case.
So the segment that preceded this had to deal with kind of the stress of high school students. Have you felt that stress, being able to try and juggle responsibilities with the running team and with academics and stuff like that?
I definitely feel like there is a sense of more stress, just because a lot of students who aren't doing a sport or a club after school, they get to just do their homework right away and then be done for the night. Whereas we come home and then we shower, eat, and then we do our homework. But we've all learned to balance it, and it's not that big of a deal.
Or you're like me when I was in high school and procrastinate until 9 o'clock. And I'm basically in the same spot you are, except I didn't do a sport. So,
right.
But as an educator, how do you try and account for that and try and navigate that landscape for your athletes? Well,
I think social interaction is it's a basic need of everybody, and I think that's probably one of the biggest casualties of what we're dealing with right now is putting people alone in their houses, trying to learn and trying to better themselves that way. And and I think it works better for some than others. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's tough. But I think the nice thing about cross country, and certainly has been that it kind of has functioned as a daily respite from all of that. They can come and sort of have some sense of something that feels at least at some level normal. Albeit we have masks and we're barking at them to stay apart from each other and so on and so forth. But at the same time, they are together and they are able to laugh and talk together and run and work out together like they would normally. And so I think that provides a basic need. Even if we weren't winning meets or whatever, times and places aside, that's probably one of our bigger victories for this year.
Guys, you have been wildly successful. We touched on it briefly in the first segment, but just to go over some of the numbers: 9 straight sectional titles. You've won state 5 out of the last 6 out of the last 8. There's no state this year, so is it kind of weird, Maggie, I'll go to you first, to have sectional be the ultimate destination? Is that kind of counterintuitive?
It's just we're taking what we can get, so I'm not upset about it. Obviously, it would have been amazing to have the normal state meet with all the runners in the same race, but there's nothing we can really do about it. We just gotta control what we can.
Will the excitement level be the same, knowing that's the last meet?
Yeah, we're all definitely gonna put it out there, all out there, and do our best. So
now, nothing taken away from the teams that win 2 or 3 years in a row and then kind of fall off, but that is kind of the cycle of high school athletics.
Sure.
And for you guys to have this prolonged period of success, you can't simply chalk it up to they had a great group of girls coming through the program.
Yeah.
So what was it that is ingrained, aside from the run and personal best, maybe just in the community, that has allowed Naperville North to be able to sustain this run?
Well, I think we put a pretty high premium on making sure that anybody who is part of our program is part of our program.
Yeah.
I mean, that they're not just a passerby. And that's, and I think that's really an important part of that. I mean, it's hard to know. One of the toughest questions to ask an athlete is how good a runner are you? Because there's not a good scale for that. I mean, there's times, of course, but people grow and improve, and trying to create an environment where the maximum amount of people want to come and do something that's essentially a punishment in most other sports.
Yeah.
Is, when you do that, you regularly get people who figure out stuff that they could do that they had no idea that they could do. And there's an element of sort of infinite possibility in that, and that's kind of fun.
Do you find it kind of funny that in a lot of ways your sport is a punishment for, as a baseball player myself, this was now more than a decade ago, running was like, oh no, this is going to be the worst practice ever. But is that kind of funny to you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny, especially like when I wasn't running and I was doing soccer. Like my coach would always tell us, like, oh, go run up the hill like 5 times, and everyone would just like dread it. But I mean, now I've come to love the sport, so it's just kind of funny looking back.
Yeah.
You were probably the one with the smile on your face going up and down. Everyone's like, what is going on right now? But what is it like to try and sustain that success? And then what have you taken from this program that you'll be able to use moving forward? Because I know you're going to try and run in college.
So I'm definitely just going to keep that same mindset that I'm on the team and I'm like with all my teammates and stuff. And it's like, it's not as much about the times and places, just as long as I'm like doing everything I can to make sure, and I'm going to be on the team for a reason, so it's not like it's not like they can discount anything that I'm doing.
Thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck in conference, regional, sectionals, all that fun stuff. So thanks for swinging by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.